Bezos has 122 of these.
Or 58 pounds of rice. If each grain of rice was 100K. Like, look how big this is, guys. I'm gonna show you the scale here. I'm gonna put a keyboard in just for fun. Look how deep that goes. That's insane. This is Jeff Bezos' new house. That's $145 million in LA. And then, oh my God.
It blew his mind. It blew my son's mind. Does it blow your mind? Just the concept of that amount of money. And you see that great big pile of rice on the floor. I want that big pile. Anyway, what's your thoughts?
You know, there's no coincidences, Karen. On the radio right now, I have Beethoven's Ninth in D minor. D is the key that goes with the heart. It culminates in the ode to joy. That's what you owe yourself. Now, you've been doing an awful lot of spell casting. You're not getting old. Don't tell yourself you're getting old. But for your physical body, I recommend olive oil and garlic. That'll help sort your joints and things out. And smoke a joint, because that unlocks the DMT. That's the only flood you need for the mind. That is the great flood which leads to a great reset. I'm going to start stepping this up a gear. I know exactly what my mission is, and I know exactly what I've got to do. And I'm going to be tackling the subject of eugenics, and what the real spiritual eugenics is. Not the physical outplay. That's something just, well, the way the external world works. But people will keep eating from the apple, eating the apples from the tree of knowledge, which is actually of good and evil, which is the tree of contrasts. The information, the in form at I on. A lot of it takes a lot to wade through, because there's truth and lies in everything. But even the lies, they develop a history of their own. How many people, for example, have, especially young boys, want to be an astronaut, inspired by what they think is truth, and may end up as a rocket engineer or something working for NASA. So it doesn't even matter. Once it's passed, it becomes mythology. It becomes a story. It's all stories. It's the same as trying to piece together history, trying to get it in the correct order. What actually does it benefit you if you have all this information and you do get it in the correct order? How does it actually benefit you? This is the question. It's all very nice to know, and becomes a huge distraction and an armchair hobby with all of it. It's all trickled out by design as well. On purpose, because it is to keep people distracted. It's also, you've got the zombie apocalypse being played out. This is what Rudolf Steiner talked about in 1917, that they would develop a vaccine that would cut off the spiritual connection. This is a war of spirit, not of flesh. And Jesus comes with a sword. These are all archetype stories. But what is the sword for? It's not to do anything negative. It's to cut the veil. And to quote that in that story, I come here with that sword to kill all that has no right to life. Well, what has no right to life? That's nothing living. That's the entities, governments, institutions, anything registered, recorded and approved. And all this nonsense about even the banks, like wanting to know where you work, it's none of their fucking business. It's like, if you really want to know, look at the current account and see where the money's being credited, paid in from, if you really want to know. They're getting above the station. People are giving away their power. All these surveys, all these things, it's to reinforce the programming. There's a very good saying about the truth is shown in films, lies are shown on the television. But it's looking beyond the superficial. But if you get a chance, have a look at the Willy Wonka film with Gene Wilder, Wilder Genes. Now, when they're on that boat, the Oompa Loompa boat, look at those fucking hideous things in the background. Those children are frightened, then look at the face of Gene Wilder. He is relishing in it. That is being shown. That is not real art. That's exactly what Wagner was pointing at, the way things were going. Art with no substance, with no depth for the masses, and you get the churned out Stock Aitken and Waterman. Stock Aitken Waterman. You just can't make this shit up. But I'm all in on this one. I am prepared to wager my soul on this, to expose this crap. Because that's all it needs. This whole mechanism relies on the hidden hands not getting its hands dirty. They're usurers, they're usurpers. That's why you have a tree usury, the treasury. And this is why you've got this entity that is always trying to stick its nose in. You've got to ask it for permission, and then of course it wants to take things. Inheritance tax, national insurance, VAT. Every step of the way it is taking something and it's not giving you anything back in return. Yeah, it will give you superficial things. Have this mobile phone, but we just want to keep an eye on you really. And then we'll put things out there so we know who we can use, who we can manipulate, who we can give the high rate benefits to, because we can get them to spy on everybody else and report everybody else. Neighbourhood watches and all this sort of thing. It's all part of that design. I can talk about all of this, or you can use any of that, but maybe you want to edit a few bits out, I don't know. I'll leave that entirely to you. But yeah, I mean, the Oompa Loompas, they were the last ones with an orange face that I would trust. Like they sing in the song, what do you get if you watch TV? It's something about a numbed mind and an IQ of 3, which is about right. It's vegetation. It's just filling the mind with shit because they don't want people doing the inner work. I've got a perfect puzzle for you. It takes time. There's a lot of people out there who've gone down this stupid route of, oh, I've paid to go on this course and it's changed my life and now I want to be a guru, or I'm going to be a guru. You can't do it like that. It has to be at the same speed like nature. It takes time for seeds to grow. It's like, would you go for driving lessons with someone who's only just passed their test because they have no experience of driving? And that's a blueprint in this reality. But yeah, it's just pushing out this message. It is starting to filter through. I got sent a very nice one from Twitter about Jews and how they've got all these groups here, there and everywhere. They're just an outer level. It's not entirely them. It's the Vatican is part of it as well. They're secret because they don't want the light shined on them. There's so many levels to this, but it is building up that spiritual self that it will be ultimately your saviour. Because if you can build up and strengthen your aura, then you can potentially have a situation, and will have a situation like the Matrix film where the bullets will just stop. They won't be able to penetrate. That's what's being shown there. Neo is one. It's an anagram. But it's not just one. It's in each and every one of us to find. There's a Bowie song called Battle for Britain. Don't you let my letter get you down. Don't be so forlorn. It's just the payoff. It's the rain before the storm. On a better day I'll take you by the hand and lead you through the door. I'm just rebuilding. This is also referenced the temple that took 46 years to build gets torn down and rebuilt in 3. It's nothing to do with years, it's the numbers here that are important. The 46 of the temple is the double 23 chromosome of the parents. Now, on a marriage certificate, permission from the government again, the third party that's getting involved in the marriage, any children that are product of that marriage are property of the state. They are rented back to the parents to keep the programming going. So it's best to not try and cut out as much as you can of that system. They will make it fucking difficult. It's like you go to hire a car. You don't need a driving license to drive because you're not a commercial traveller, but it's because that's the way the world has to be, because that's the only thing it's got. It's desperately trying to hang on to its power, but you can expose the light on the mechanism of it, and if people can free themselves from all the various addictions that they've got and start doing the inner work, they stand a chance of getting through this. Now, I don't know how many actually will get through it, because how can you even verify how many people there are in the world? Just go on Google Earth, look at, say, that the Faroe Islands, or the Outer Hebrides or Inner Hebrides, anything small like that. Look at the population figures and then do a little survey on Google Earth and look how many buildings there are, and you tell me how they get these figures, because it doesn't equate to the number of buildings that are shown. Also, look at that Russian coastline on the Pacific. Are you telling me there's not one fishing village along there, not one road? Wherever the land meets the sea, there is always fishermen, because it's part of their livelihood. So what they're showing is blanked out, and it turns out in Kiev they're having parties and things. The stories that are coming out are totally misinformation. It's like in a war scene, an army relies on intelligence, single-sourced information. Yes, there may be somebody firing at you from the other side of the hill, but how do you know that the information you're getting is true? It's playing one group off another the whole time. But the best thing to do is read or listen to that book, Irish Wisdom in the Bible and Pyramids, because that shows how it's been flipped. I shall put links to show that one again. It's Conor McDarry, written in 1923. That is validated by what is shown on Old World Florida and Karimo Ahu's channel. There's physical evidence of all that, like the Saxter stones. These are these stone anchors of ships. Now, the ones in Florida are 5 tons. So what sort of size ship and what sort of effort would you need to lift a 5-ton anchor? They're perfectly bored out holes to take the ropes. There are ones in supposed Middle East, the Middle East. Why do you think the focus is always on the Middle East? Because that's the rewritten lands with applied biblical place names, which is actually a spiritual history. It's nothing to do with this world at all. It's just played out on this world stage, in stages. Yes, do by all means use that one. I had to scroll back to find it, to remind myself what I'd even said on there. Yeah, go for that one, because crack this, got the answer, shall we say. I'm not the only one that's got it, but I can spread the word. Really, what would you say would be the worst case scenario of this reality? Would you say that probably the worst thing would be we're just a character in a computer game, and the whole, everything, even us, is artificial? Let me know what you think of that. We could probably turn this into a recording if you wish, and I'll rephrase it and say it better than that, so don't use this bit. But I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but yeah, we got rain. It came down heavy a little while ago. What you'll probably hear is the mat outside the door, and it's dripping off the tiles. There's no gutters, and I'd love to get gutters and water butts and things set up, because this is just the first of it. But it's much needed. I've just went down earlier and harvested a load of small lemons, because they're the 5 main lemon trees down there have just dropped a load. They're small, but they're still usable. 1 or 2 I'd have to leave to ripen a little bit, but it's an abundance, and the seeds I planted during the week are now starting to come up. But don't be under any false impression that I'm going flat out here, because it's a leisurely pace. It's like do a bit, stop, do a bit, stop, or fuck it, not doing anything today. Just do. Like now, I haven't got to do any watering at all. I did go round and do some of the stuff, because I thought if it doesn't, then I'm going to have to go round anyway. And I only got to go in the morning yesterday, but the early mornings now, there's that mist and the dew, so they're getting watered by nature anyway. So things are looking a lot greener. We've gone from like having to go really careful with the water to like so much water, don't know what to do with it. It's like gone the other way.
Mickey sent me the link to this video. The name of the channel it comes from is Wandering Turnip. He has quite a good subscription, and if you want to see him his whole video, please watch his video. See, it's 27.5 minutes long. I'm putting a couple of minutes in. I hope he doesn't mind. I just find it very weird. He says the houses are all for sale. They're all for sale. And whereas, say, oh God, I don't know. Say in Newbury, you'd be paying $250 for a house like that, maybe. I don't know, maybe house prices have gone down, but you would pay a lot more. Here, he said he saw them being advertised for small amounts of money, you know, oh God, I don't know what he said, about £10,000 or something. But what he saw was that they were going for maybe 20, but some of them were going for more money, like 80,000. But they're boarded up, so you're buying it, I think, at an auction, and you can't go in until you've bought it. So you don't really know what you're buying until you've gone in. But it's being sold off right now. What the hell's happening? Yes, this was a seaside town. It also had a big mining community, and you could say that a lot of the people have left because of, you know, they were miners and they're not anymore. So they've gone elsewhere for work or whatever it is, gone back to families, moved to other countries, whatever it is. You know, if you're gonna stop an industry, what do you expect it to do? What do you expect it to do for money? Where do you expect them to go? Oh, I know. Let's just redo my career now. Now I'm not going to be a miner. I'm going to be an IT person, whatever. But you know, he talks about in his video that, you know, these are skilled workers. I don't know. Everything just seems weird. You know, Mickey found this post and sent it to me. It's, you know, I made a video, maybe it's the same place. You know, often when houses are being sold off, they want to redo the whole area. That's what it's about. But he's saying they're being boarded up just so that, because youths can't break in and set them alight or whatever they're going to do. So that's why they're boarded up. But anyway, what's your thoughts to this? Because obviously the video is a lot longer. He says what he's going to do, so in his video you can go and watch him do it. Is this because, you know, when we were locked down, loads of people went home? What is it? and then obviously property was empty. You know, people are living there. There's just half the community there. You know, this is what's happening in America. This is what's happening in other places. You know, it's all just, it's not right. Anyway, watch the little video and then leave me your thoughts and tell me what you think. And go over to this channel and watch the video and sub to him like me.
There must be 10 on that side, 10 on this side. Every single one boarded up. I'm back to another video exploring some of the cheapest property for sale at the moment in the United Kingdom. And today's video has brought me to County Durham, to the town of Hordern, the seaside town of Hordern. The sea is just down there, and this is the town of Hordern. Now 50, 60 years ago, this town would have looked completely different. Nowadays, there's a lot of boarded up property, a lot of derelict property, and the house price around here is really cheap. You can still get a house around here really cheap. So I'm gonna have a wander around today, hopefully speak to some locals, and I've got 2 property tours, so be able to go inside some of the properties and try to figure out why they're so cheap. So Hordern is an ex-mining town. The coal mine here was sunk and opened in 1900 and operated all the way through the 20th century. At one point the mine boasted 4,000 workers, 4,000 people were working at the coal mine, living here, spending the money, bringing up families. And the mine also held a record for, I think it was the European record for the most tons of coal removed in a single day from a mine. And they held that record for 30 years. So it was the real deal, this place. The mine was the real deal, a real powerhouse of industry, this place. Then in 1987, the mine was shut down and all those workers who relied on it had to go elsewhere to find work. So this here is a statue that was put up in 2015 called the Mara. It's named Mara as a recognition of the mining history of this place. And it's a miner who's had his heart removed. He's had his heart taken out. And that's a symbol of, on a grand scale, of all these mining communities around the United Kingdom that were shut down, the industry disappeared, everyone lost their jobs, and ultimately the beating heart was taken out of the place, and that economy just died. But also on a personal level, it's a representation of the human struggles that all these miners went through, these people that had spent their lives down the pit. This was all they knew, this is what they were good at, highly skilled workers, that suddenly their jobs disappeared, and it wasn't like they could go work in other mines. All the mines were shutting down at this time. That industry just disappeared. So the beating heart of these miners was taken away as well. I like it here, they've made you think it's not boarded up. There's a door handle, which have painted that on. Curtains are drawn, just painted on. Good way to make you think it's not boarded up, but it is. Another one here with the fake door handles. I love them. You really think it's a door and you really think it's a window until you try and open it. Just painted on. So yeah, a lot of boarded up property. Whoever made them fake doors are genius. I absolutely love them.